Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Performance Racing League, PRL. I am Hoop BK. We have some Sunday Tier 1 action for you on tap from Mexico City. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And we're expecting a bit of rain in the later stages of the race. Really, it's not going to start wet. It will become wet. But for now, in qualifying and start of the race, sun is out, sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, over a mile above sea level. Let's see. Sunday Tier 1, down to the final 3 rounds of the season. And championship battle pretty much down to just a handful of drivers. I have to look exactly what the standings look like. What do we got? Mr. Bean leading by 24 points over Joe Bidome, 36 points over Kobe Plays, 45 over Gord, with this and 2 other Grands Prix remaining. So what's the cutoff there? 80, 84? What's the maximum amount? Say if you're within 85 points at the end of this round, you're still technically in it. So right now that would include Bean, Joe, Kobe, Gord, Brian, who's 50 back, and Jay Drutt, who's 62 back. So 6 drivers still technically in the championship hunt. For drivers, as Rusty Oil Can gets his hot lap started, very long front straightaway here. DRS not nearly effective this high above sea level, but a very long front straightaway with the DRS open. Heavy braking zone, turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, all woven together. Secondary DRS zone here towards turn 4. I like to call this the stadium section, though obviously there's a much bigger stadium section later in the lap. 4, 5, and 6. You'll see a lot of side-by-side. Drivers trying to finesse moves here through the low speeds, which should be even more difficult in wet conditions. Then winding through the S's, 7, 8, 9, and then the much sharper 10 and 11. Takes us to another DRS zone. Into heavy braking, turn 12. You can go a little bit wider on exit than you think you can. Game seems pretty forgiving on track limits there. And then the very slow stadium section. This is Photosol, former baseball stadium. And quite the environment to be in on race days. You go through the final corner, 16 and 17, and Rusty Oil Can puts down a 1:17.1 first lap of the day. CAC starting a lap just behind. Is there anyone else coming over the line? Gord Sauce will come over the line, a 1:15.6. Pole lap, excuse me. Here we go, Joe Bido, 1:14.8. Pole lap in Tier 2 was a 1:14.5, I believe. Just under a 1:14.5. Hopefully it's a 1:14 instead of a 1:15. Be a little embarrassing. I'm going to take a quick look. Mr. Bean slots in just behind him. Look at that. Just 1/100th of a second. So it's a mid 15. Yeah, 1:15.5. So my bad. That was from Ghost Viper, but we've already blown that out of the water into the 1:14s. Our championship leaders go. Ooh, look at that. There's Ghost Viper. As Rut will jump in. Frosty is in the 1:16s as well. Got a couple of drivers trying to put in first decent laps. Here's Sandro, a reserve who hopped in last week and got the win. Showed a ton of pace. We should expect him on the sharp end of the field once again. 19 cars in this one. Love full to nearly full grids. Actually watch the pink Haas wind its way through the Forosol. Through the Pelotada. Keeping a tight line and 0.02 of a second. So we have 3 drivers within 100th of a second at the very top of the board. So this is going to be quite the battle for pole that is brewing. So a long way to go in this session. Ghost Viper to the line. I think it invalidated, actually. I call out Kobe plays at a 115 flat, not too far away from all of this. Could find Adrian in the mix as well. We have Nico John pushing. Our grizzled veteran. Brian, who's still in the championship hunt. Probably aiming for a top 5 right now in this first lap. Oh, and Nico turns it a little too early and then invalidates. That's going to cost him another lap, so we might as well just hit the pit lane. Brian out the final corner, takes his pink Alpine to the bottom line. A 1:15.7 will put him P6 just behind Gord Sauce. There's the hammer, still waiting to get going. Adrian on a lap. There's Uno Cinco, who is fresh off his first PRL podium. He'll put it P9. Got a P3 in the Tier 2 race last week in Canada, which was also... Was that one affected by rain? Yep, so more weather in the Americas this week. Let's go to Adri. As somebody just hopped onto the board. I think that was the hammer getting a time down. They're starting pretty much all over the curb to get a good turn in, and then a wobble on exit, and it takes all 4 tires just outside of the limits. So Adrian will invalidate. I think that's a commentator's curse of sorts. And will have to come down to the pit lane. So neither Mercedes getting onto the board in their first runs. Anyone pushing right now? Does not appear to be so. Maybe Frosty has recharged. We'll go on board with him. So, yep, he's got pretty much a full battery. So Frosty will be pushing. Let's see if we can come back to him. Rusty is up 2/10 through his first sector compared to his first go-around. It's really just those two. Joe and Gord have started laps, I believe. Very busy turn 1, if you look at our track map in the bottom right corner of your screen. Rusty nearly up 7/10 through 2 sectors, so this is trying to get him in the mix for P8, P9. Really missed the apex into that slow speed corner in the middle of the stadium, probably right in shallow center field. Back on the throttle. This is going to cost him. Yep, so he'll be P10 instead. Frosty pretty even, but can he jump back into the top 10? Oh, big moment there. Hasn't invalidated, but I think that's the end of his lap anyway. Yeah, big. Just a slip up, trying to get back on the power. Here's Gortsas, who was approving but invalidated, and here's Joe Bidom, who takes it just about a 10th out of reach. Just under a 10th gain. So now just under a 10th ahead of Sandro. Bean, purple sector 1. Sandro, starting a lap, excuse me. So both of these drivers try to find time. Bean up 3/10 through sector 2. Okay, actually a quarter of a second through sector 2. He's going to run into a little bit of traffic here at the late going. V-Carb getting out of the way at the last moment. It's definitely a soiled your pants kind of moment. And Mr. Bean finds 3/10 and finds himself on provisional pole. Sandro entering the Forosol now. And the power all the way to the inside. 114.4 beats Mr. Bean. And they have all traded blows here in the top three. And we still have 7.5 minutes left in the session. A three-car battle for pole position. Here's Zabit sitting P8 in the McLaren, and he's found a bit of time through one sector. Let's see how the S's go for him. His teammate Kobe is just behind him, and Zabit hasn't validated. Kobe hasn't validated. All right. Never mind. Not a good run for the McLaren boys. Nico John has found himself on the board. Here's Tar Heels, who suffered the infamous double DSQ in the Tier 2 race, disqualified from qualifying, and then disqualified from the race. I think he was trying to rejoin safely, and the game decided he was not moving fast enough and kicked him out. So hoping to at least finish this one, or at least be in the legal bounds of this one, as Adrian jumps to P4. So he joins the second row, 1,000th of a second quicker than Kobe. So we've got a bit of a battle for the top three, and now a battle for P4. And then a bit of a ways back to Gord Sauce in P6. Brian P7, so they're kind of grouped together. Rhett kind of by himself, P8, but finding time. He could join this battle for P6. And then it starts getting closer and closer, P9 on down. So still a pair of drivers. I think Balzerga and the Hammer still try to get more representative times in there. See if Rhett finds time to the final corner. Will he jump up the board? He will, to P6. So he'll pip Brian, who had just jumped Gord, and Gord, who's now on a hot lap. And on to the third row with Kobe Plays. Cinco. Let's go to him, and then we'll go to Frosty. The Aston Martins was down through 2 and does not find time. But Frosty up 4.5 tenths, 6.5, nearly 7 tenths at Sector 2. I think it was Cac Supreme just jumped into the top 10 with a 116.2. But Frosty looking to join him in the 116.2s and find his way to the top 10. Final corner, where does he go? P9. On to the fifth row and into the top half of the field for Frosty, who got a victory here midweek 2. I hope that's right. Midweek was not here not very long ago. Excuse me. Yeah, they were not here very long ago as well. I believe Frosty got the victory in that one. So I'm losing my mind. No, he did. One from pole. So, and that was also a rainy qualifying. So Frosty, some good vibes, some good history here in Mexico City. And he's finding himself in the top half of the field in the final 4 minutes of qualifying. Balzerga, here we go, 4 tenths improving through 2 sectors. A big slide as he tries to get into the stadium section. See, that's the second time we've seen a driver turn in just a smidge early. Now trying to get back on the power. And we'll at least jump into the top 10. You can see him sliding around a bit. I think he knows there's still some time in that lap. Where is everyone? I see one viewer for this one. Where is everybody? Tune in. Lock in, boys. As Joe and Mr. Bean back out on push laps, close together on track. They are 2 tenths away from each other. In P2 and P3, inside 3 to go. And Mr. Bean going wide. I think just letting Joe through now. I would describe these two as championship rivals, but certainly allies on the track. Joe has found a 10th, but that'll still leave him a 10th down on Mr. Bean. Or perhaps Bean trying to put himself into a position to get slipstream off of him on the front straightaway. As Sandro comes out for his outlap, Joe to the inside, 114. Oh, wow. Lost time in the final sector. 7 thousandths lost. He will not improve. And Bean not going to get too much slipstream. He does tuck to the inside and will get some off of the Alpine. So a big launch down the front straightaway. Almost cut the first corner. So no improvement from Bidome. Mr. Bean trying to find a 10th and a half to take it to Sandro. Very busy Sector 1 here. We get a view as everyone's trying to get out of the way now. We have out laps and push laps and in laps. Sandro on a hot lap now. Our provisional pole sitter, excuse me, was not on pole last week. Started P2 next to Mr. Bean. Has found half a 10th. See where Beanie is at the Sector 2, and he's fallen off. There must have been a mistake somewhere. And I don't know if either of these two are going to have the time to go again, or the fuel. Bean invalidates at the final corner. And is that going to carry over? It won't. So he is going to be on a push. See, it's some retirements. Joe is headed to the pit lane. He is done. Is Sandro going to find a little bit of time and put this out of reach for Bean? Through the final corner, 1-4 just misses out. Into the 114.4s again. Bean on a push. Kobe even through Sector 1. Adri on a push lap now. So he takes it through the first corner. So still pretty early in the lap for some of our contenders. Brian pushing as well as the clock expires and the checkered flag waves. Kobe has invalidated. Adri is down through a sector. Someone just jumped up the order. I believe that was the Hammer. No, not the Hammer. Uno Cinco, perhaps. We had some movement in the top 10. Rhett, no improvement. Brian finding a little bit of time. Can you find more in the final sector? Mr. Bean has invalidated, and I think that will do it for the pole fight. Can Adri make an attempt at top 3? Is he content with just the second row? Does find a smidge of time, but will be P4 on the grid. How about Butler? Butler is the last one on a hot lap. Butler in the Haas sitting P18. It's 3.5 tenths to 17th. He gets half of that. So nice 3-car battle for pole position. And Sandro, I believe, with his first PRL pole. It's the power of the pink Haas, honestly. That's what I choose to believe, at least. So your starting grid for today's Grand Prix at Mexico City is Sandro and Mr. Bean on the front row. Joe shares the second row with Adri. Kobe plays his fifth next to Rhett. There's Brian B. and Ghost Viper, the all-Alpine, fourth row. Gord Sauce and the Hammer round out the top half of the field. We get Cac, Uno Cinco, Frosty, Balzerga, Zabit, top 15. And then Rusty, Nico, Butler, and Tar Heels rounding out a 19-car field. And then, yeah, Bortoletto is somewhere P20. He will not be taking the start. Average Sauber formation lap or recon lap shenanigans. got to take a moment to congratulate our unofficial, but I think mathematically correct, Tier 2 champion for Season 16. That's Jimbo, Bingo Jimbo. I was calling him Jingo Bimbo, which is not the correct name, but that'll be a good nickname. Jimbo, congrats on a Tier 2 championship win in your rookie PRL season. And good luck in Sunday Tier 1 next season. It's because it's happening. It's happening. He ran away with the race earlier in the day. The race in Mexico City, which had a similar weather, so we'll get into that in a moment. I think it went by like 18 seconds, so congrats, Jimbo. In Tier 2 earlier today, rain started coming down around lap 10 or lap 9. And drivers were on intermediates by 11 or 12. I think some drivers had come in early to replace their mediums with hards. It was about 2 or 3 laps before the rain started coming down, so that hurt them. So like, knowing that, you would want to start on a hard tire, or at least a tire that you know is going to take you to lap 12, 14. You go on to the inters. After that, some drivers came back in for a second set of intermediate tires. Some took them to the end. So how well can you keep your rears in check? Don't light them up too bad. Don't screw them up too bad. Gord says his brake pressure was at 95% during his qualifying run. And I believe that's something you can't change in... Can you change brake pressure under Part Ferme? I don't think you can. So not ideal braking ability for Gord Sauce and the Williams. Sandra says, where's the rain? Uh-oh, is this going to be a dry race? It's the formation lap underway here in Mexico City. Rut says he was not allowed to start on hards somehow. And let's show that detail. Everyone on hards except for Rut. So he is going to be the sole driver trying to take mediums to that window. I'm assuming it's going to rain. How Sandra was saying that maybe he was just expecting rain at the beginning of the race. He's got a wet setup, so he may be struggling at the beginning of this race, waiting for the rain to come down. Everyone is starting on the hards except for Rut in P6. Trying to go as far as they can into the wet. So our pole sitter, Sandro, take the grid back to their boxes on the front straightaway. Tar Heels at the other end, winding his way through the Forest Soul. Now we wait for the light sequence. 5 red lights are illuminated and quickly extinguished. A good jump from our pole sitter. Not a great one from Bean. He's going to fall in behind Sandro. Rut has a great start. Splits the Mercedes and McLaren. He's up to P4. Adrian Kobe going at it just behind. We watch the 3 cars ahead. Under braking. Quick closing by Rut behind Joe. But they'll make it through cleanly. Now the Mercedes of Adri pushes his way through. I think kind of gets into rut. Who moves off track. Some movement in the back as well. Frosty is lost out. Kobe to the outside will have the inside. Oh, that was a great view, and I got rid of it. So watch the car snake through the stadium section. The Williams, you see making a move. That's CAC Supreme on the hammer for P12. No movement in the top 4 when it's all said and done. I think Sandra's had a great jump. Mr. Bean not nearly as good and had to fall in behind. But Rhett and Kobe have gone at it. For P5, Gord has got by Ghost Viper. Balzerga up 4. Rusty Oil Can up 5. So great starts there. The Hammer down 4. Uno Cinco down 4. And Frosty down 5. Now 4 as he's trying to pick his way back through the field. I think he was P19 for a moment. Tar Heels had an issue out of the final corner. Back to the front. Sandro holds off Mr. Bean into turn 1 once more. Still will not have DRS. They'll have DRS for the first time entering the Foro Sol. That's straight just before. Gord's closing in on Brian, but will not attempt to move. The top 10 have separated themselves. Rusty started P16, now P11. CAC Supreme just behind him, and Rusty has a bit of a moment, and it pitches his car into the side of the Williams of CAC Supreme. They're going to bunch up as Zabit will get his way by, but the Hammer goes spinning around. If you see a Hammer spinning, you better run. He will fall all the way down the order. I don't think there was a tap there. I think that was just a low traction zone. And just lost the car. Went to the right. Sandro leads the field back around to the line to start lap number 3. 36 lap race here in Mexico City. It's tied for the second longest. Or 50% for these races. I believe Monaco is what, like 38, 39, something like that. Mexico City, one of, I think of Austria, also a 36 lap race. I believe there's one more. The Hammer may have picked up damage there. Yep, I see end plate damage. He comes into the Ferrari pit box and will get his wing replaced. Less than ideal start. Put on mediums. Hopefully that'll get him to where he needs to go. Brett does confirm that there is rain in the forecast, so all as it should be for weather. Butler has had an off, and he has wing damage to that Haas. Missed that, but that had to be within the last half lap or so. His teammate for the day, Sandro, still leading the field. Now top 9 within a second of each other. Balzerga falling a bit further back. He sits P10. CAC Supreme holding off Zabit. They are grouped together. We do have an overtake. That's Kobe on Rut. So Kobe moves back to 5th, where he had started this race. And here we get a good look at what Mr. Bean sees. He sees the back of this Haas. Goes to the high side. Can we get a good look in? Is not able to get the turn in he wants. So it's going to throw off his line through the rest of this section. Can Mr. Bidome, there we go. Can Joe possibly sneak a wing in there? He does not. Butler retires in the pit lane. He is the first retirement of this race. So the field whittled down to 18 cars. Zabit to the inside of CAC Supreme as they enter the Foro Sol. Still side by side as they go to this tight corner. Still rolling side by side. They make it work. Great, respectful racing here, but I think Keck somewhat turned in on Zabit. He was still trying to keep it side by side. Keck trying to take the corner. It's going to leave him about 9/10 back, and with Nico John hot on his heels. Mr. Bean is either going to be a move for the lead. Yes, look at this mess. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead. Why not? Joe onto the grass. Backs out, but he's going to cut the corner and then lose the spot. So Joe trying to go aggressive as Mr. Bean and Sandro go at it for the lead. They are still side by side as they start the S's. Oof, big check up there. Adrian has to back out as Mr. Bean has an issue. Try to get through. Adrian has to back out. He's going to lose 2 spots. Joe and Kobe getting by, and another side by side. That's Adrian and Kobe plays, and I think Kobe got the worst end of that. It's kind of booted across the track. So he's going to lose a spot. Brian, the unfortunate victim of track limit penalties, the first victim. He is side by side as we get another battle, another pass for the lead for DRS. That's Sandro taking advantage of that. Oof, that was definitely 3 wide at least. So 3 cars having to cut the corner at turn 2 and turn 3. They're going to drop some spots, and Gord will take advantage. So Gord moves to P6. Some great battling in the top 3 as we see Kobe go wide in the background. Multiple fantastic battles here in the top 10. And I'm sure a hell of a battle happening for P11 as well. Look at our timing sheet. The Hammer will retire in the pit lane as well. Tough showing for him. Sometimes it just does not go your way. So head back around, this time to lap 7. Mr. Bean went to the inside, did not get enough clearance to make a move there. So he'll try it again into turn number 4. Sandro gone defensive previous times, parks himself in the middle, makes Bean take the inside line. Can he get slowed down enough? They are still side by side. And the Haas will regain control of this one. Tries a little up and under, but gets into the rear of Sandro. He's still going to get to the inside. And Bean is able to complete the move before the S's. So good racing here. Bean feels his way through. Had it, then lost it. Had it, then lost it. And regained it. Joe's still very, very close to this. Adri very close as well. Hammer says got caught up with the other cars for the first bit, tried to avoid them, but got tagged and spun, got damage. Yeah, just really tough when you pick up damage early on, especially when you're expecting rain. You already are pit stop down on everyone else. Rut is coming to the pit lane. It's like he was the one that started on mediums, and it's not going to work for him. He is able to take the mediums to the crossover point, have to put on softs, so he will be a pit stop down. It's a shame as he was running in the top 8. Look at Gortsauce holding on to this group at the very front. Ghost Viper has found his way to P7 ahead of Brian, Balzerga, They're all jumping spots with Rut going to the pit lane. Yeah, another trade here. Look at this clump on the track map. Zabit to the inside of Cac Supreme. Into the Forosol. Whew. Nico almost gets into the back of him. Watch this group head down to turn 1. We get some overtakes in the background. Nico around the top side of Zabit. So driver's playing nice for now. I think Frosty was trying to fill out a move on Rusty. Didn't quite get it to happen. As the lead group makes their way into the S's. Still holding pretty steady here. Ghost Viper joins the club. Frosty will get by Rusty. See for how long, and Rusty a bit of a moment. No contact there, though. Second time we've seen a little mini spin. So due to a checkup out of turn 7, perhaps. So Rusty battling the Aston Martins here for P13. Cac holding on against Nico, John, and Zabit for P10. Ghost Viper has his teammate just behind him. Brian will get to the inside. And a DRS overtake puts Brian to P7. Will there be a second one? Will Balzerga get there? Not quite. Let's see if Brian or Ghost Viper returns the favor on Brian into turn number 4. Mr. Bean has gotten to the back of Sandro and actually pulled away from Joe just a touch. That's floating around a second. Here we go. To the outside now. He's usually taking the inside. Breaks a little bit deeper, a little bit later. And will get his way into the lead. We've seen him go to the inside. Break a little bit later. Now goes to the outside, breaks a little bit later to return to the lead here on lap number 10. Look at this to the inside. Sandro goes. Great side-by-side action through the first 3 corners. But Sandro gives him a little push. Gets the elbows out. And Mr. Bean's going to fall to third. Can Joe jump into the lead? Has the high side. Sandro leads him a little bit deeper. We got passes all over the place now. We're right in that window where the rain is coming down. You see it on your screen now. Bean gets by Joe. They're still side by side into the S's. A couple different lines here, but now the traction is going to be quickly disappearing. This is not when or where. There we go. Joe will pick up a time penalty now as he cuts the corner at the S's. This might be intermediate time. It had been sprinkling the lap before, but the rain really starting to come down now. Has Ghost Viper had an issue? He must have. He is off the pace and has dropped 2 spots. Will Sandro lead the field into the pit lane? He will cut to the inside, barely gets to the choose line. And will come in. Everyone else staying out. Let's go to the tires now. Sandro, the first one to jump. No one follows him in. Mr. Bean follows Joe. Sorry, Kobe will follow them through and go way too late into 1. We still have a battle for the lead. Even after Sandro's already boxed for intermediates. Ghost Viper joins him. Uno Cinco, Rusty, and Tar Heels had come in really the previous lap. I think. That's still side-by-side action. Oh, he's found the grass. Not great there for Kobe. He is going to hold off Joe at least and stay in P2, but now they are starting to feel it. Starting to slide the cars around through these high-speed sections. The lack of downforce also costs him 3 seconds. I think everyone's going to be in the pit lane this time. Yep, Sandro called it perfectly. Pitting on lap 11. Or the end of lap 11. And the rest of the field pretty much staying out. Or pretty much the rest of the field. Woo! It's going to be sliding the car through. We still have a Williams. That's Gortsas will stay out for another lap. You've got a yellow. Zabit has had an issue. And I think that's going to bring out the full course safety car. So those... Gortsas, I think it worked out for him. Let's see if we can see what happened. It was on that DRS zone. It's going to be a VSC. Okay. Here we go. I don't ever see anything other than caution sector 2. But a VSC, that's not going to benefit Gord. I think a full safety car would have been perfect for him. But everyone else onto the intermediates. It definitely does not benefit Sandro, who's going to come out behind Bean, Kobe, and Joe Bidome. It'll be P4 once Gortsas pits. There with Adri as well. So leaders really having to slow down. I want to make sure there's no incidents through the slow section as they all try to stay under the delta. And back to green we go, so Gord won't even benefit from it. He's going to have to pit under full green flag conditions, and he had already lost a couple of seconds to Bean since the restart. So that should drop him out of the running for the top 5. Everyone else who came in benefits. They came in as soon as it came out, as the VSC initiated, so that'll give Mr. Bean the lead. Kobe plays, moves to P2, and Sandro gets by Joe for P3. The timing of it kind of hurt him, but still in the mix for sure. Adrian's still holding on with this group as well, and that'll drop Gortsas 7.5 seconds behind Adrian in P6. He's going to be battling Balzerga in a few moments' time if he can't get these tires heated up. And also kind of lead to the rest of the field separating a bit. They were very much clumped up from P10, P11 on down. Still have this 5-car clump at the front. Still a long way to go in this race. We've seen the weather. And the weather report was actually sunny, light rain, heavy rain. So the rain will get heavier in the later stages of this race. Will it be heavy enough to necessitate a move to the wets, the full wet tire? I think it's the next thing to keep an eye out for. As well as, can you take care of the intermediates long enough to get you to the end, if possible? Top 4 still together. Adrian holding on. He's holding on. Running in the 127s, 128s right now at the front of the field. 129's a little bit further down the order. Whew. Hey, what's going on, Llama? Jesper says, based on Tier 2, no. Could stretch the enters the 24 laps to the end, and weather is basically the same, even on approximate. Okay, so maybe not wet enough for full wets. At least that's what's expected or anticipated. But I am correct in assuming that some drivers did pit again for fresh intermediates at the end of Tier 2. So some drivers will take care of the tires and make it last. Others might be a little bit more aggressive or a little less stable. As Frosty gets by Ghost Viper, I think there was a yellow there. It'll bring Ghost Viper to the clutches of Rut, who's trying to pick his way back through after having to make an extra stop, moving medium to soft. Yeah, this was not the race you wanted your strategy to betray you and start on the tire you didn't want to actually start on. So you have to pick your way back through in suboptimal conditions. He won't have the help of DRS, so he's trying to dump some battery, but I'm pretty sure Viper's also dumping battery. To the inside, turn 1. How late do you dare? Locks up, gets to the apex, and they will make their way through. Kind of cuts the third corner, but will stay on the track. Trying to get back on the power, though. See if there's any overlap here. He cuts, or he shuts the door on him. Something must have happened to Sandro here. Now 2 seconds behind Kobe, sitting at P3. So he and Joe are going to be going hand-to-hand, wheel-to-wheel. See him slide the car, try to get through the back half of the Forest Soul. I know there's a corporate name for that stadium, but I don't care. It's really the issue. It was about a second slower that lap than the top two. Joe, 3 seconds of penalties. Outstanding. Kobe as well. So this could be a Mr. Bean a walk away, but still in the first half of this race. A lot of rain left. Anything can happen here. And Joe fighting for pride for the time being, trying to stay close to Sandro, hoping he makes a mistake. Let's see if Tar Heels gets disqualified again. He's trying to stay out of the way as the leaders enter that slow section. And he will get a 10-second penalty. Even though he loses so much time. Yeah, I would... That's dumb. That's dumb. Joe all over the back. He's basically parked his car underneath the Haas. Both of them fighting for traction out of the final corner, and he will get clear as they go across the start-finish line. Gap is now 4 seconds. Their time starting to fall off the board a little bit, closer to the 130s, into the 130s. That last lap for Sandro. Kobe still with Mr. Bean. Yeah, that's why I mentioned that, Jesper. I know he got disqualified twice. I was like, wait, is he going to get a third one? Are we going to get the hat trick of disqualifications here? Yeah, Tar Heels, I mentioned earlier, DSQ'd at both the qualifying and the race in Tier 2 for some dumb reasons. Sandro really having issues in the wet. He drops to P5. Must have had a big mistake at the beginning of Sector 2. Adrian will get his way by him. Gordsauce is catching this duo, is pretty much faster than anyone third on down last lap. Where his tires are fresher by a lap or two than those around him. We thought he was going to have to deal with Balzerga. He's been able to run away pretty handily. Frosty going alongside Brian as our leaders bring us into the back half of this race officially. Lap 19 of 36. Kobe really sticking with Bean here. And Kobe's trying to gain points, any points he can, to stay in this championship hunt. He sits P3, not too far behind Mr. Bean and Joe. And every point is necessary, is crucial at this stage of the season. Frosty and Brian going at it side by side through turns 1, 2, and 3. They will keep it pretty tidy. It's going to bring Rut into the mix, though. 3 wide for a second as Brian slips around. Ghost Viper and Nico also going at it into turn 1 a bit further back. Yes, this has become a 5-car battle for P11 once more. Remember, they were separated. It was very, very tight in the first stint. They stretched out under the pit stops, and now they've been reunited once more. You cannot tear family apart. They will find each other. And this family of 5 battling for P11. Really need to work on my analogies here. Rut looking up at Frosty. The time penalties are helping him here. Yep, pretty much 3 seconds all around, except for Tar Heels unjust. Sandra heads to the pit lane and retires from the session. I didn't see any critical issues for him. He actually put on his AI will put on wet tires, but he was really starting to struggle in the wet. As it rained and rained, it rained. He came out in traffic and then was just starting to hemorrhage time and positions, but he will retire from this one and will finish P16. He's having a good run until the rain came and it just was not working for him anymore. He said he was running the wet setup, but so last week's winner will fail to finish here in round 10. Rut and Frosty still going at it, and yep, that's a 3-car battle still. Ooh, Frosty onto the grass will hold on to it though. And Rut will move to 7th on track, 10 seconds behind Balzerga, but let's see if he can get clear and just start to walk away from those cars behind him. See if I can do any investigative journalism here. Whew, Brian trying to keep that car steady through the Forest Soul. Rusty joins the club of time penalties. Just look at this gaggle of cars. Gortsauce has tracked down Adri for P4. He's about a second away still, but is gaining. Gained a full second last lap. Could have another battle on our hands soon. Let's go on board with Kobe for a little bit. He sits in P2. As I say that, we get a pass for P10. That's Ghost Viper improving past Nico John and Rusty on Uno Cinco into turn 1. Never mind, we'll go back to the onboard later. Got a couple of passes here on track. Rusty to the inside of Uno Cinco. Ghost Viper past Nico John. Both into turn 1. I said DRS. There's no DRS to speak of right now. But heavy braking zone, turn 1. Make it happen. Ghost Viper fights to the top of this group. And it is now 22 seconds to Brian, his teammate, ahead. So a pit stop's difference separating P9 and P10. Just a gulf between the Alpine teammates. I know Ghost Viper has some pace. I don't know if he's going to be able to go that fast. But perhaps he could start cutting into it a little bit and secure P10 for himself. Frosty making another pit stop. He got 9 laps on the first set of intermediates. A second set will drop him in front of Ghost Viper. So he knows he has the advantage there. That he had a pit stop advantage over that group. He will still lose a spot. Goes from P8 to P9. And gives Ghost Viper something to look at 3 seconds up the road. See if anyone else follows him there. I don't think they will, at least not at this stage. They're still probably in good enough shape. You can go a bit further and kick the can down the road on that decision. Now we'll do the onboard with Kobe Plays. Hear the tires screeching as he tries to get back on the power. A lot of traction zones at this track. I'd say similar to Canada last week, where even in the dry, you're struggling for traction because there's a lot of lower speed corners. But in the wet, it becomes very tricky. Bean trying to get his 5th win of the season. That's in 10 rounds. This is his 9th race of the season. And Kobe has finished P2 5 times, but has not broken to the top step of Sunday tier just yet here in Season 16. We do have a couple of takers on pit road. That's CAC Supreme and Ghost Viper. Taking new intermediate tires. They've come out 12th and 13th. Uno Cinco, had done something similar. So the Aston Martins led the charge onto pit road. Go inters to inters. Do have a couple of followers. Kobe Plays. Can he get alongside here to turn 1, lap 24? Thinking it's go time. He does make the move. And moves into the lead of this one. Mr. Bean to the top side. Could be trying to force a tough line for his Red Bull opponent, but he will keep it stuck alongside. A little bit of a slide from the McLaren. And Mr. Bean will return to the lead. So Kobe kind of forced the issue there into turn 1. A great move, but could not get it to stick through the next slow speed section. Great racing here at the top. Gortsauce has got within a second of Adri. Battle for P4. Gord dealing with that penalty though. Nico John is next to come to the pits. And Rusty is there as well. So the back half all taking new tires. Back half of the lead lap, at least. Top 8 are still running on those same intermediates. And once again, we have... I'm telling you, you can't keep a family separated. These 5 are just scrapping for P10. So it's once again Nico at the front of this group. Ghost Viper falling back behind him. There's Rusty, CAC Supreme, and Uno Cinco. This quintet going at it for P10 all by their lonesome. And Frosty has been able to jump ahead of the fray in P9. Good 16-second gap to in front of him and 30 seconds to behind him. The leaders may actually put this entire group a lap down pretty soon. Check the track map there. Mr. Bean can see CAC Supreme, Uno Cinco just ahead. I feel like Bidome has kind of quietly pulled his way back into this. He was 3 seconds behind, 3.5 behind the leader, and now it's closer to 2. See what Mr. Bean sees. He sees 5 cars in front of him and a car behind him. Bidome will come to the pit lane. So he will do the split 2-stop strategy here. Puts on another set of intermediate tires. He's going to come out pretty close to Balzerga. Will it be clear of him? It's going to be close. No, it's not that close, actually. But it's a 2-second, 1.5-second difference. But Bidome slots into P5. Was going to try to chase down Gortsas. Rut will follow him in. Should come out ahead of Frosty. Well clear of Frosty. It's not any big losses there. Adri looking back at Gortsas. For now, P3 on track. And this duo fighting their way through lap traffic. Who does ghost when you're trying to pick by them. I believe that's Bean looking ahead at Rusty, so he's put CAC and Uno Cinco a lap down. Rusty just ahead, and Nico John and Ghost Viper continuing to scrap a big moment as Mr. Bean's going to come to the pit lane. Saw him nearly lose the car out of the final corner. That'll put Kobe Plays out front. Is anyone going to try that one stop at this point? Nico John lets Rusty go. Got to the inside. I think he was trying to get out of the way for the leaders perhaps, and then lost a position anyway. Bean's going to come out pretty close with Joe. I keep saying that, and it's still about a 2-second difference. I was looking at the wrong number there. Jasper says, on Adri or Gord, I'd stay out and just pray. Honestly, I think that's the call here. 10 laps to go. See if the race can come to you and see if your driving ability is good enough to take care of these tires. A bit of a moment for Gord. Nothing too extreme, though. And we do have a yellow. I think that's CAC having an issue. Getting back going, though. Be interested to see the lap times as Kobe has picked his way through the lap traffic. He's going to come to the pit lane now. I think this is going to hurt him. It's going to put him firmly in P3. That will give the lead to Adri if he stays out. Yep, this duo does. Bean ahead of Joe. Let's see where Kobe Plays will come out. It's going to be ahead of Balzerga. It's going to be behind Joe Bidome. Is it? They're going to be alongside. Joe is going to make the pass on him. Just enough speed. Any mistake the previous lap would have put Joe behind Kobe Plays, but he does get clear. A little bit of a 2-lap undercut on the McLaren driver. And will be in P4. This battle for the lead still going. See how long this lasts, though. Maybe a little bit of a touch. These two are going to go at it and go at it for probably the rest of the race. 2.5 seconds behind Bean, but on equal ground with each other penalties-wise, so this is a fight for position. It is already a 3-second difference. Gord to Bean. I guess we need another lap to see where Bean is pace-wise, but we got 128 as Joe picks up another penalty. We got 128 flats here in the top two. Kobe 129.8, Joe 126.4 last lap. We're about to get a new batch of times as the leaders come through the final corner to take us to lap 29. Adri still out front. It was a 128.1, 128 flat. Mr. Bean, 125.9. I don't think this is going to last for Gord and Adri. You can put up a hell of a fight, though. 127.2 for Joe. 128.9 for Balzerga, who is on much older tires. Jesper with a Nico John-ism in the chat. Gordon Adri needed to be wider than a Kardashian's ass. Cars wider than a Kardashian's ass. So need to put on a good defense here. Mr. Bean all over the back of the Williams now. We have to put up quite the defense over the final 8 laps of this race. A Herculean task. Gordon, a little bit of a moment, and it's going to give Bean a good run through the S's and a run to P2. Does Adri have anything for him? And Kobe and Joe coming back into the mix as well. Just 1.1 and closing behind Gord Sauce. Yep, within a second now. Is Bean going to get a move done on the front straight or into turn 1? Gord's going to call it. He's going to come to the pit lane and put on new intermediates as Mr. Bean returns to the lead. New tires versus old. We'll close them off. Back out front goes the Red Bull. So it's going to cost Gord Sauce some positions and some time. It's going to put Balzerga into P5. I think Balzerga is going to try to take it all the way now. Brian's still out there as well. 17 laps on their intermediates. Just don't really see any reason to try it unless Brian has an issue and is going to lose a bunch of time anyway. Kobe and Adri. Kobe trying to follow Mr. Bean past, but hasn't happened yet. Ambitious. I think you got to take your time there. Sorry, I was trying to eat something. And Joe's going to get to the inside, and Kobe into the back of Adri. Under braking. So Joe will get by anyway. Did Kobe pick up any damage to the front of that McLaren? And does Joe have any more luck than his rival in trying to get past Adri? 3 cars vying for P2. Adri holding to the high side. 3 wide into turn number 1. Adri stays out front, and Kobe and Joe are going to go wheel to wheel. Kobe really tried to getting all the way to the bottom, but was not able to secure the move. He will remain at P4. The status quo remains unchanged. And now Joe to the inside into the wet, though. He's not able to get the car slowed how he wants it. How about the outside? Through the slow speed section. He will get by Adri, and now Kobe's going to send it to the bot. Wow, what a camera look. Thank you for that. Kobe did stick a nose in to the bottom side. It's going to be the high side now into the S's, and Adri's just going to have to let him go. A valiant effort by Adri. He will be demoted to P4. Oh, wow, we've got some... Jesus, what did I just... What am I looking at? What am I looking at? 3 wide in the stadium section. Ghost Viper, Uno Cinco, and Nico John. Just throwing haymakers at each other. We saw a little bit of wheel banging. Because Rusty's just in front of this as well. Definitely felt like the meme where, you know, like Donald Glover's coming home and the apartment's on fire. He's coming home with pizza. Balzerga into the pit lane. He will not be our hero, our one-stop magician. He puts on new enters with 5 laps remaining. So that'll move Gord, Rutt up some spots. Brian will join him, and Frosty will get out ahead in front of Balzerga. See for how long, though, and Frosty dealing with penalties. It's been a good run for him, sitting in P7. Even with a time penalty, would still be looking at P8. We had mentioned his previous fortune at this circuit from earlier in the season. Got a pole and a dub. And he's holding his own here in Sunday Tier 1 for this round. There we go. Penn's really going to come into play here. Kobe would jump Joe. That offset of penalties. Jump to Balzerga, who is all over the back of Frosty here in the stadium section. Does get around the outside. Is this going to work? He's very much in the wet. There is no traction there right now. But Frosty's going to find the wet on the inside through the final corner. And Balzerga finds the dry line and rips by the Aston Martin. He's going to need to find about 8 seconds. Still side by side. Thought the move was pretty much cut and dry, but Frosty not letting him go that easy. I think he's lined this up perfectly, and he has. Even in the wet. It's still side by side. It's like if one driver gets the run, they end up in the wet line for the next corner anyway. So, got to get it way slowed down here, side by side. Oh, we have a yellow. That might be CAC, actually. I was like, was that Gord by any chance? These two still going at it, sliding all over the place. Yeah, once the penalties come into play, this will not mean anything. But you can force someone else into a mistake. Like, Frosty has nothing to lose here. He's going after Balzerga for something like that. A 3-second penalty. Just make him do it again in the 3 laps and change you have remaining. And suddenly, if you're in front of him, it will count. Nico John and Ghost Viper. It's into turn 4. And in the middle of all this is Joe and Kobe still going at it for P2. Ghost Viper goes wide to them go. He has 6 seconds as well, so he's not really going to be able to catch Cinco there. So with all the penalties, I'm not sure we have any true battles for position. It's really Uno Cinco trying to remain within 3 seconds of Rusty Oil Can. As the leader's going to come around to the penultimate lap. Mr. Bean. Another tidy one today for Beanie. On the front row alongside Sandro. Stayed in the battle early. Consistent, clean laps. And then as Sandro began to struggle in the wet, Bean kept it clean. Has not picked up a time penalty yet. Has been able to pull away from Joe and Kobe in this intermediate stint. Or second intermediate stint. I mentioned earlier this would be his 5th victory of the season. These two are going to go at it to the flag. Penalties be damned. And Gord Sauce has really cut back into Adri for P4, but He's got to hope that something happens to the Mercedes man in the final 2 laps. Mr. Bean to the line to see the white flag. One more lap here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Does not lock up the championship or anything with a win, but brings it a little bit closer to him with 2 rounds remaining. Really gets a chance to take it next week. And Gord is going to get by Adri. Can he get 3 seconds clear now? Adri really starting to struggle in the final few laps. Adri 2.5 seconds slower than Gord once again last lap. Jesper says offline is wets now, but the racing line is still dry enough, which means you don't get any overtaking action. It does mean you're going to get some mistakes that are really costly because of that super wet line. See Kobe sliding around now. I think that's it. Adri trying to stay on the dry line, but getting out into the wet, and it is nearly a death sentence right now. Mr. Bean. Nope. Are we going to get fireworks here in the rain? Yeah, set off fireworks in the rain. See how that goes for you. But Mr. Bean, another tidy one, another victory. Kobe Plays is going to come across the line at P2. But we'll be P2 actually. I switched the penalties in my head. Joe Bido will get the final step on the podium. Gord Sauce. He's over 3 seconds now. Is he going to hold on to it? I think he is going to hold on to P4. Good effort there from the Sauce to finish 3/10 ahead of Adri. Another fantastic effort. Both these drivers trying to go long on the intermediates has brought them into the top 5. Rutt will get 6 and a pretty good comeback drive. I think Balzerga... Oh yeah, Adri stayed all the way out. So it didn't end up working out for him, but got to have some balls to take these 24 laps and be the only one to go that long. The rest of the drivers will come across the line. Cac is on mediums for fun, you know, for the whimsy of it. It's like when you turn off traction control on your daily driver just to kind of whip it around a little bit. So there you have it. Dry to wet to rather wet. In Mexico City for round 10 of the season, the Sunday tier PRL. We get a familiar face on the top step. He's got a lot of those videos on his phone now. A Bean, Kobe Bidome podium. Being your winner, Sandro gets fastest lap. Kobe gets driver of the day. Frosty most overtakes, and cleanest driver goes to Adri. Your final results. Bean, Kobe, Joe. Gord Sauce from P9 gets 4th, and Adri P5. The only one-stopper in the field. Rutt is 6th. Balzerga 7th. Frosty is 8th. Brian is 9th. And the rest of the field, a lap down. Rusty, Uno Cinco, Nico John. Rusty coming out at the top of this gaggle. Ghost Viper, Cac Supreme. Tar Heels down 2 laps, and our DNFs, Pole Sitter Sandro, Zabit, the Hammer, and Butler. Let's see if I can get Race Director real quick. I don't think anyone was able to keep it clean because there's a lot going on here, but we got it. So this means you have to tune in next week, same time. Same place for well, possibly the same place, for Great Britain at Silverstone, because that is where Mr. Bean could clinch the Drivers' Championship at his home track, actually. If I'm not doing it here, then the Fridge will be doing it on his channel. So make sure you've subscribed, followed both of those. This has been PRL, Performance Racing League. I have been Hoop BK. Enjoy your Sunday.